Therese Hearts, welcome back to my channel. For real though, I have no idea what I'm doing in these intros, so I'm just kidnapping YouTube ones. What I just did is very typical for a YouTube genre called ASMR. If you've never heard about it, you go and learn today. Howdy, how's everyone doing? Therese Hearts, Trust in the Chaos, welcome back, or welcome to, depending on where you're at. So I apologize for looking as tired as I am. I went to a friend's wedding yesterday in Wisconsin and drove 6 hours in one day. And I start school tomorrow and I'm really upset about it. So, one of the things I actually talked about or posted about on my Instagram this week, which kind of prompted this video, is checking in with other people and making sure they're okay, but also checking in with yourself. One of the biggest things that I didn't realize was a sin is not taking care of yourself. I always just thought God put himself last on the list. Like Jesus literally dove out fishes and loaves and whatever, and he was just kind of there. But then I remembered he's God and I'm not. God does not want us to run on dry. We need to have our oxygen mask on ourselves before we can help everyone else. I'm not saying being selfish. I'm saying self-care. Self-care is different than self-love. You need to, of course, love yourself, but self-love kind of, in my opinion, can lean a little towards vanity, where self-care is like, nope, okay, I need to do what I need to do to get myself back on track so that I can continue ministering and doing what I'm called to do. So today I'm going to talk about some self-care. I also felt the need to do this video because I'm a teacher and I start tomorrow with kids. It'll be great. It'll be fine. But anyone else in the world who's super busy also probably struggles with self-care and finding time. And I'm so dedicated to this, that, and the other thing. What do I do? So really quick explanation of my life responsibilities. Besides being a teacher who teaches 6 different classes every day, and I'm not saying I teach I teach 3 sections of music history and then a section of this and 2 sections of that. No, I teach 6 different individual classes every day to 6 different groups. So that's a lot of work. In addition to that, I'm also a volleyball coach and our season started pretty recently. I'm the choir director. We're launching the theater program this year. I was just texting a friend earlier about dates for a show. I'm also a youth minister. That and I'm married. And I like my husband, and I'd like to see him occasionally. So there's a lot on my plate. And finding time to breathe can be kind of tricky. Or even finding the headspace to get to the point where you can breathe is tricky. So I got a few tips for you in terms of how to care for yourself. Please forgive my dog. So tip number 1 I have for you is prioritize your time. You need to sit down and realize what is important, what is not. Because there are just not enough hours in a day to get everything done. You have to become okay with, not everything's going to get done today. I'm super type A. Probably haven't figured that out, but I'm the most type A person. Our entire wedding, when Matt and I were getting married, I had a 12-page Excel doc of what gets done in every month. Did we pay it? Everything. It's just, I'm nuts. That's how I work. I've got code of conduct handbooks for everything and policies and weekly emails. And it's just how I function. Because if I'm super organized, that means I will spend less of my time answering stupid questions or having to plan things later. So I just try to think of anything first that will try to save me time in the long run. So prioritizing what works, what doesn't. So for me, it's really hard as a teacher because sometimes you're shoot, I really need to get that test in. But you also come to the realization of it's just not going to go in today, and that's okay. Or, hey, we should vacuum. No, I'm tired. Now, of course, all of these things can go to excess. I'm very type A. I'm an over planner. Now, if your anxiety takes you the other direction, where you're a procrastinator, I also understand this because it's usually with things that make me super anxious that I can't even think about. I don't look at our bank account. That's all my husband. He just tells me numbers. And I'm um, if you are the type B personality where you get so anxious about things that you're just like, nah, no, I'm going to take a nap and never deal with those things, take them off in little chunks. Prioritizing your sanity in terms of like, okay, I've got a 10-page research paper due. My teacher gave me a month. Budget your gosh darn time, speaking as a teacher. Okay, so you're terrified. Maybe today you're going to do research on one chunk of your paper. Next day you're going to research on another one. Or even you can break it down even smaller. Like today I'm going to look at 2 websites. Next day I'm going to pull up 2 more websites. Now I'm going to look at a book. And then you take it off in little chunks. Breaking things into smaller chunks can be easier. Cleaning your entire house can be terrifying and overwhelming. So you're like, okay, today we're going to do the basement because our basement's literally one room. Stuff like that. So one, prioritize your time and make lists in biteable chunks. 2, along with prioritizing your time, put things in perspective. Okay, you're going to learn how to say no. It's one of my worst traits. You got to learn how to say no. At my school, in addition to everything else I was doing, I was the middle school athletic director, and that just ate up so much time and so much of my soul. And I didn't have, like, I cared, but I didn't have a ton of passion for it. So I took it off my plate, and I'm reinvesting that time into things I care about, whether it's being home to see my husband or building a theater program, making those priorities. So not only that you are putting things first that you have passion about, but taking things out that you're not and reinvesting them somewhere else. I know for me, one of my big anxiety triggers is that I'm lazy. And I'll get back to this later. So I constantly feel the need to do something. So if I was going to drop athletic directing, I was like, well, I'm quitting. I'm not a quitter. Blah, blah, blah. I've kind of had to rewire my brain to say, you are not quitting. You are reinvesting your time. So there's that. So put things into a list and prioritize those lists. Prioritize what gives you joy. What sparks joy? If I'm Maria Kondo. The third one for me is find a way to relax and check in. So for me, usually, my check-in in terms of where I think I'm at is usually at dinner with my husband. Matt knows me better than pretty much anyone on this planet, and he can just tell by the look of my face, the way I walk in, where I'm at. And yeah, I'm pretty good at diagnosing that for myself, but sometimes having him to be like, whoa, did you have a bad day or are you hangry? Like, which of the two are we working with is really great. I also have about 20-minute commute home, and that's when I do a lot of, okay, try to sort out my life in terms of, okay, a lot just happened. Let's streamline this, let's streamline this, put everything into little boxes. Again, going back to that prioritizing. But also, in addition to checking in with somebody who knows you super well, a great time to check in with yourself is prayer. I know for me personally, I feel like people have so many other problems, and asking God, like, hey, can you do this for me? That God's kind of like, I got other stuff to do, but he doesn't. He died for you. And he wants to make sure you are satisfied so you can go and fulfill your mission where you're supposed to go. So a really good time to check in is to be like, God, this is where I'm at and this is what I need. And not only are you checking in with yourself, but you're kind of abandoning all the crap that you can't control up yonder and letting him deal with it. So, again, biteable chunks, priorities and things that spark joy, find someone to check in with, and then find some way to calm down. For me, I have a very addictive personality. My husband will be walking in any minute, and I'm waiting for it so we can continue watching Men in the High Castle. Because I binge like it's my job. And sometimes that's great. I need to turn my brain off. There's too many wheels going, and I can just sit down and watch Mr. Iglesias and be like, that never happened in school. But, like, just laugh at it. But other times, I need things to bring me back to reality. One of my favorite things to do that I've discovered is ASMR. Not to do, but to watch. Because as you saw in my intro, I'm really bad at it. For those of you who don't know what ASMR is, look up ASMR, the letters GB. She is one of the ASMR artists, out on YouTube. She's got a large following. She's my personal favorite. In addition to Michelle Sophie ASMR, ASMR Darling, ASMR Glow. Those are like my go-tos. Um, and essentially, what it is it's auditory meridian sensory response. I think I said that right. And essentially, it's when your brain tingles. For a lot of people, it happens like when you're at the doctor or you're in a lecture, and it's very soothing. Now, for a lot of people, it can be whispering, it can be role play, like someone's taking care of you. That one seems to work for me a lot because I feel like I'm taking care of everyone else, and it's kind of nice to feel treated. So this way I can go to the spa without going to the spa and spending spa money. Some people, it's just hearing them whisper and then tapping on certain things. Or scratching. I hate the scratching. Now, how I found out about ASMR is it's a large subgenre of YouTube, and the youth is all about the YouTube. And I heard my kids keep talking about it in class. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And at first they showed me Mambach, I think it's how it's pronounced, where people just like eat food into a microphone, and I almost vomited. Like I watched some chick like slurp lobster, and I like, oh. But then I started looking into this girl named ASMR Darling. She did a video with the Try Guys, and I love the Try Guys. My husband bought me Try Guys merch for our anniversary, and it's literally my favorite thing. But she did a video with Try Guys, and I didn't watch their part because, no offense, Try Guys, it wasn't great. But when she was talking, I was like, oh, that's what that is. So I started watching some of her videos, and it felt like this dirty, nasty, like shameful thing. But no, it's just like meant to calm you down. And all of these ASMR artists are generally super positive and use it themselves because they were also anxious or have anxiety or depression, and they noticed that it just made them feel better. Videos are typically like 20 to 40 minutes, and that's also a good time to just kind of, again, turn your brain off and focus in. And usually it's someone talking to me. Like, I'm not one for meditation because my brain just spirals. So having that person to not only like lead in something relaxing, but feel like I'm having that interaction with is extremely soothing for me. If meditation works for you, God bless you. Go for it. Another thing I do to try to manage my anxiety and stress and take care of myself is working out. Sometimes it can feel like a burden, but sometimes I have motivated by this little thing to go get 5 times a week, go get 30 minutes of exercise. And it could be Matt and I make dinner and we go walk the dog for 40 minutes, and that counts. One of my favorite things to do is running. Okay, not favorite, but thing I'm trying to get better at is running. And especially on a track, I just kind of like forget. Not on a treadmill because I don't move anywhere, but a track, I like get lost in the meditative quality of it if I'm just going around and around. And I usually listen to an audiobook. Audiobooks is another really great way for me personally to get out of my own head and listen to something else. I feel like I'm learning something. I feel like I'm having that connection, but I'm also taking a moment to breathe for myself without 7,000 other things in my brain. If you're looking for really great things, Audible is fantastic. I've read so many excellent books. Try Guys, Hidden Power of Effing Up. Radium Girls, I just finished yesterday, which is incredible. American Radical, which is about this guy who is a Muslim and was a cop in New Jersey on 9/11, ends up becoming an FBI informant, breaking up a sleeper cell in Canada. It's a really great story. But finding those ways to kind of take your brain out and just listen. Again, meditation's great. Walking in nature is great for some people. Just sitting on your back porch and whatever. But for me, I need that human connection. I'm a weirdly like introverted extrovert where I need my time alone, but I can't be fully alone. And like I said previously, a really great way to check in with yourself, and the last tip I'm going to give you is prayer. Not only can you surrender up what you have, but going to adoration is a good time to just like sit there and just be one and not have to do something for once and let things be done to you. And I think that's a really healthy part of self-care is like you don't feel like you have to do everything all the time. but let things be done unto you, because the Lord wants to give you a lot. So, sorry if that was a jumbled mess, but I hope you found something fruitful, especially in our going back to school season. Kids, stay in school, get good grades. Parents, have some understanding and compassion. And fellow teachers out there, we got this. I believe in us. All right. See you next week. Have a great week. If you're starting school, I feel your pain.